The rehearsal dinner was supposed to be simple. Just family, a few close friends, and the wedding coordinator walking us through where to stand the next day. People were chatting softly, glasses clinking, chairs scraping across the floor. It felt ordinary in the way wedding events usually do, slightly awkward but hopeful. Daniel stood beside me while the coordinator explained the processional. He smiled when people looked at us, but something about it felt rehearsed. I noticed it, then pushed the thought away. Weddings make people nervous. The doors opened behind us. Everyone turned. My sister Leela walked in. At first people smiled automatically. She was late, which wasn't unusual for her. But the smiles faltered almost immediately. She was wearing my wedding dress. Not something similar. Not a joke. My actual gown. The custom one that had been hanging upstairs in its garment bag. She lifted the skirt lightly as she walked, beaming at the room. Daniel stepped away from my side and moved toward her. When he reached her, he slipped his arm around her waist like it was the most natural thing in the world. "Surprise!" Leela said, laughing. The room went still. "We're eloping tonight," she added brightly. For a moment nobody reacted. It was like everyone was waiting for someone to say it was a prank. Then my mother clapped. "Oh my God," she said with a delighted laugh. "She looks so much better in white!" The words echoed through the room in a strange way. Several people glanced at me. My aunt stared at the table. One of Daniel's friends shifted uncomfortably near the back. Leela looked directly at me, clearly expecting some kind of reaction. Daniel gave me a careful smile. "I know this is sudden," he said. But it didn't feel sudden to me. I had discovered the messages 4 days earlier while sending myself a document from Daniel's laptop. At first it was just flirting between him and Leela. Then it became planning. Conversations about the rehearsal dinner, about timing, about the moment they would announce everything. When I saw it, I didn't confront anyone. I simply called the courthouse the next morning and canceled the wedding license appointment. I looked at the two of them standing together now, my dress gathered in Leela's hands. Then I reached into my bag and pulled out my phone. "I actually wanted to show something first," I said. My voice surprised me by how steady it sounded. I stepped closer and held the screen out, not to Leela, but to my mother. She leaned forward automatically, still smiling. Her expression changed slowly as she read. The thread on the screen showed Daniel arguing with Leela the night before. She wanted to reveal everything during the rehearsal dinner. He had been hesitant, not because he regretted it, but because he hadn't told her something yet, that the wedding paperwork had never been filed. My mother looked up from the phone. "You knew?" she asked quietly. "Since Tuesday." Daniel frowned. "What is that supposed to? It means tomorrow's wedding was already canceled," I said calmly. For the first time, uncertainty crossed his face. Across the room, the wedding coordinator stepped forward carefully, still holding her clipboard. "I should clarify something," she said in a professional tone. "The venue reservation and ceremony tomorrow are still booked under Ms. Rivera's name." She nodded politely toward me. "If the couple has changed, we would require a new contract and payment arrangement." The room shifted. It wasn't dramatic, but everyone felt it. The attention that had been centered on Leela and Daniel slowly drifted away from them. Leela looked down at the dress like she was seeing it properly for the first time. Daniel's arm dropped from her waist. No one laughed anymore. I slipped my phone back into my bag. "I hope your trip tonight works out," I said. I didn't say anything else. There didn't seem to be a reason to. I picked up my coat from the back of a chair and walked toward the door. People moved slightly aside as I passed, giving me quiet space. Behind me the room filled with low whispers. Outside, the evening air felt cool and steady. I stood there for a moment, breathing. For most of my life I thought dignity meant fighting back loudly, proving something in front of everyone. But standing there, I realized it could also mean something simpler. Just refusing to stay where someone else had decided you didn't belong anymore.